Hi, welcome to another episode of our podcast series बातों बातों में, जहाँ पे हम आपको मिलाते हैं इंटरेस्टिंग इंडियंस लिविंग इन क्रैको। और आज ऐसे ही गेस्ट हमारे साथ हैं जिनका नाम है अनीता एंड शी इज़ लिविंग इन क्रैको almost 30 years plus. So let's talk with her. Welcome Anita, welcome to our podcast.
Thank you for having me here.
Okay, so I like to ask, please introduce our viewer to a little bit about yourself.
Okay. Namaste everybody. Hi, I'm Anita Singh and I'm living in Krakow at the moment, but I have not always lived in Krakow. I spent my childhood in Bombay. And then I moved to Poland. I was living in the mountains and then came to study in Krakow. I studied Indology because I didn't know what I wanted to do, but I knew I wanted to go into a big cosmopolitan city, which is full of arts and beautiful architecture. And like after living in Bombay, I needed this kind of an environment. So I came to Krakow to study Indology, and then while studying Indology, I learned so much. I sort of knew India because I was living in India. I'm half Indian. My father is from India, from UP. My mother is Polish, from the Polish mountains. So you would say I know India, but still I learned much more during my studies. And so I took a backpack, and with 4 of my friends, we traveled all over India. Mm-hmm. And on my way back in the aeroplane, I was like feeling so nostalgic. Is that the end? I already missed India, and I was still in India at the airport in the aeroplane. I thought I have to find a way to keep coming back, because I sort of discovered that, my heart is there, left over there. So I came back to Poland. Then I started studying tourism management, because I didn't know how to connect these two worlds, and I sort of came up with this idea that maybe tourism is a good option for me to keep traveling there. And also, so I did a course. That time we needed a course to be a tour leader, you call it pilot, like a pilot. You go with the travelers, with tourists, with companies. You go there and you explain, basically take care of the people and all that. So I've been doing that for over 20 years now, and plus I study tourism management. At the moment I have my own company which organizes tours to
Oh, okay. So you said your mother is from Zakopane. So you born in Krakow or you born in India?
Mm-hmm. So actually I was born in Zakopane. My mom is not from Zakopane, because the Polish mountains are much more than Zakopane, but although Zakopane is the most popular place, so I understand. But I actually was born in Zakopane, but I lived my mother's from Torsten. It's another very beautiful place in Poland, which perhaps, maybe you have been, in the mountains. So I was born here, but then my father was a captain of working for the Shipping Corporation of India. So basically I spent 2-3 years of my life, first 2-3 years on the ship. So I learned to walk on the ship and I traveled all over the world. So perhaps the travel thing is there also, maybe from that time.
So he was in this shipping company in India, and you were in Indian, maybe ocean?
Yeah, we traveled all over the world. We traveled all over Africa to Europe to America, and
in quite a young age.
It's I don't remember anything. Maybe it's in my memory inside somewhere.
Okay, so normally how was your experience living in Krakow? Because how you come to Krakow?
Yeah, so I used to come to Krakow basically to an orthodontist, as a teenager. And whenever, I used to come with my father, or my friend's dad used to bring us here, and so they had some work to do, and we used to always say, okay, so we'll walk around Krakow, and we'll meet at the Rynek, right, the
city center.
The city center, and I used to just love sitting in the center and just looking at the people, how, everybody can, in a place like Krakow, everyone can express themselves more, because we have Bombay, Delhi, big cities in India are not the same as the Indian villages, which are beautiful, lovely and all, but if you dress eccentrically or whatever, then it'll be like, who is this, right? What is this? So same thing in Poland also. Maybe we feel that it's the same, maybe the difference is not that much, but still Krakow is a different world than a tiny place. So I just love the artists in the city center, the musicians and all those, the mimes and all those things. I wanted to come here. So that's and I did as I planned, and so I came to Krakow and started studying here. And
so as you said, your parents is Indian. one, your father is Indian. So is there any this parent thing that we have in India? Like if you want to move, you have to ask your permission from your parents that I'm gonna go. And what's the experience you had?
Yeah, well, I'm lucky in a way because my father actually he left home to study in Bombay when he was a teenager. So basically, that problem we didn't have. My parents also, my mother also, she traveled to India to her, fiance from a tiny village in Poland, and during the times when it was not normal. So my parents didn't have much to say in that. And also, I chose Krakow. Krakow is the nearest city where you have universities actually too. So I didn't travel that far. Yeah.
So how was your experience studying in Krakow?
Yeah, it's the student life, as you maybe have observed. Krakow basically is now it has become very cosmopolitan. So many Indians, which is I'm happy because we got so many Indian shops and you can just buy everything. Before I used to get everything from, in my backpack from India. Now everything is available and people. So I feel more at home, but I should not say this. But like I'm halfway between India and Poland, so it's comfortable for me. Anyway.
But yes, normally it was a good experience. But you didn't have that many international students.
No, I mean there were always international students, but basically my group of friends were Polish.
Okay, mostly.
Mostly Polish. Yeah, the like sort of larger migration for jobs and all that started later on. Yeah, because I'm talking about 98.
Okay, so you said like you were moved to Krakow when you were 13-year-old, and how was your experience with the language? Because that's a big thing. And how was your experience at that time? Because no one speak English before.
Yeah, well, I didn't move to Krakow when I was 13. I moved to the tiny beautiful village in the mountains, Torsten. And before we came here, I mean, we used to come to Poland, yeah, because my grandparents were here, my cousins were here, aunts, uncles, and everyone were here. So we used to come here. So we had contact with the culture, with the language and everything. But as kids, I observed that children tend to learn fast, of course, but then we used to forget. Like we used to come here every 2 years. So by the next 2 years, we used to, but somewhere the language was there inside. So it was not like learning a totally different language, which I can imagine is a big problem for most Indians who are coming later on. Also, they say that if you learn a new language before like 13, 14, you can learn it without the accent. Yeah, if you are learning it at 17, 18, always the accent will be there. So when I speak in Polish, like people will say, "Oh, wow, you learned Polish so well," but I just learned it, from childhood, and then. Yeah, it was tough because it was holiday time in Bombay and all the kids were going out to play in the compound, and my mom said like you can't go until you do your homework, and because we were we had to stress the Polish language a little bit before coming here. And luckily, see the studies which I was in a Maniji Cooper school in Bombay. What do you say? The studies the level of the studies was good, so I didn't have any problems here. So basically,
how was your experience studying in India and studying in Poland? And I know also you have a child, and like, can you please explain us a little?
Yeah, well, when I was living in Bombay, that time Polish was under the communist system, so we can't compare those days in Bombay to Poland at the moment, where the children who come, and when Indians come now, you have the international schools, right, with English medium and all that. At that time, that was not there. Like, or maybe it was there in few places, maybe for the diplomats, kids and all, but it was not that much available. And there were not so many private schools in Poland as well that time. So that time in Bombay, of course, I'm not speaking about any school in India because we know it's so different in different places. But the school I attended, it was great. I had a lovely childhood in Bombay, which I like to explain also to the people who I meet here, because very often Polish people they'll imagine India as the slums and the dirt and the smell and the dangers and everything. So sometimes I feel, especially in my work which I'm doing, if I go travel with tourists to India, and they'll say, okay, let's see how do those children, go to school, and how do. I actually perhaps started doing what I'm doing because in my childhood I got a question from someone in Poland as a child. It was very innocent, like, did you go to school on an elephant? And that was like, so you don't know anything about Bombay traffic? We don't have elephants. Anyway, I know there are many remote places in India, and even if someone goes to school on an elephant, full respect to anyone, but then it gave me the idea that there's a total misunderstanding, yeah. And I'm half Polish, half Indian, and I can bridge this gap, and I think that's how everything started. So it's like when I speak of my life in Bombay, it was in a specific city, modern city. In those times, even the schooling, I think, was more modern than here. But the schooling here is very good, I think. I think nobody in Poland will agree with me, but my kids, they go to a government school in the center of Krakow, in an old building. But we wanted to have it that way, and it's fine. I think everywhere, people will not be 100% satisfied. So we'll find different opinions. However, because Poland was under the communist system, still we have fairly good education system for free.
Yeah.
Which is not possible like in India, right? The free schools in India.
We have free schools, but it's education level probably maybe not quite.
Yeah, we can't compare.
Similar. We cannot compare that. When children study in a government school, so they had to know Polish, or they can choose the English language as well?
No, in government schools, as per my knowledge, you have to have Polish language. But children, Indians know this best. Like people in Poland, they'll sometimes ask me, like, how can you learn 2-3 languages at one time? Indians know this very well because you speak in a different language in your house. You go to the school, you'll speak in a different language. You'll have your, bai who's coming to the house to do some work, and you'll have to speak to her in a different language, and the movies are in a different language, and so kids pick up. So like, yes. If people are living here in Poland, Indians, and I had a chance to teach Bharatnatyam for a short time to 5-year-old, 6-year-old, 7-year-old girls, in Indian kids.
Indian girls.
And that was amazing. Krakow? Yeah, in Krakow. And they were like really fluent with Polish. And they were playing Polish games, singing Polish songs. And I don't think for such children it will be any problem.
Yeah. As you explained, you just teach a little girls Bharatnatyam. And can you please let us know your more cultural activity that you did?
Yeah, well, I started learning Bharatnatyam when I was in Bombay. Yeah? It was extracurricular activities before class. We had Bharatnatyam. So my Polish mom, she enrolled me in these classes, and I had the basics from that time, and it sort of stayed in my heart through all these years. And then when I was studying here, actually during my studies at the Jagiellonian University, during studying Indology, I met a dear friend of mine, Eva Wardzawa, who got a stipend, and she went to India and she studied Bharatnatyam from Saroja Vaidyanathan in Delhi. So she came back, and so I got a chance to go back to the dance. She taught us a little bit. She taught us a lot. She shared all the choreographies with us. She started a group, a Natyalaya dance group in Krakow, which is still there, and you can watch it at all the various Indo-Polish cultural functions. So thanks to her, I got back to it, and then basically as an adult. So I'm totally into promoting dance. Sometimes ladies, they'll say, oh, I'm too old or whatever. Dance, just do it, if you feel you want to do it. Yeah. So because it just changes your life. So I'm like I have done it professionally off and on, especially during COVID, like when all the borders were closed and travel was impossible. So yeah, so then after Eva decided that she's a yoga master. She's a really great yoga master, and she's teaching yoga in various places in Poland, mostly. So then I took over, sort of, you can say, like taking charge of the dance company, and I was teaching. And then I started traveling to India to learn more, and I found my guru Nirupama Rajendra in Bangalore, where I started traveling also for studies. And here and there on the way on during my dance journey, I tried. I danced flamenco. I learned flamenco for 6 years, so that became an important part. So I explored Kathak also, because like you know the gypsies, the Romas have come from India sometimes, and they created the flamenco style in Andalusia. So people often explore the. Yeah, so I got a chance to spend some time in Calcutta. My husband was learning tabla there from Samir Chatterjee. So I started learning Kathak. So I took like a few months. Every day I used to go for courses to Jayanti Mukherjee from Kolkata. So so dance has been a part of my life. Journey, travel, and and dance side by side, off and on. So yes. So I have been. So I've also used this dance actually as a tool to promote Indian culture through dance. So I've been teaching Bharatnatyam here. I've been doing workshops every year since 10 years with a friend Magda Nierndze from Warsaw, who's a Kathak dancer. Since 10 years we've been organizing summer retreats, kind of, you can say, workshops. Like you go for 5 to 6 days, like almost a week, to some remote beautiful place where we have everything taken care of, and it's mostly ladies, different ages. We just go and we start with some yoga, then we'll have breakfast, then we'll do some. So basically we are like, I'm from the Bharatnatyam background and Magda's from Kathak, but we teach Bollywood because we feel that is the way to, like, also the bridge, because classical is so difficult. Like nobody even knows what is Bharatnatyam, and nobody can even pronounce it. Nobody can even understand the word, right? So we come to those Indian deep roots and all through the popular culture.
I agree, because dance is something that classical dance is something that person at least need to know a little bit, the forms, and then it's easier to teach them. But if people doesn't know that, the basic thing, it's very hard.
Yeah.
And I totally agree with that. I like to know, because you said you also have a tourism company, and I like to know more about this, if you can explain.
Yes. So during COVID and also before, like I was doing a lot of with my dance group and or solo, like promoting Indian culture through arts, like whether it was in some kindergartens or with senior citizens, or just organizing workshops, or just performing here and there for various cultural events, and especially during COVID, because travel was sort of closed. And actually just before COVID started, at the moment when it was starting, I was stuck in India with 3 people, tourists, and at the airport, when we had these flights organized. Polish lot was organizing, like selling tours, selling flights to come back to Poland. Yeah, so I had bought a ticket. My tourist had gone, and I had bought a ticket for the next flight, and the flight was cancelled. Like I didn't mind because I was feeling comfortable in India, but my family was here. Everybody was stressed. COVID was still not there in India actually, but it was very much in Europe, and Polish people were like just panicking and all. So I went to online. I saw that there are still seats in the flight, which was going. So I said, okay, I'm just going to the airport, and I'll just somehow go into this aircraft and just go home. And at the airport, there were so many people, Polish people from the cancelled flight, and they were like sitting everywhere here and there, and there were some other travel companies also, and some people who were totally lost because they didn't know what to do. They had come, like there was a big yoga convention in Pune, and they had just come and they had just a transit. They didn't have a hotel in Delhi or anything, and suddenly and one of our common friends, they said, oh, you missed your flight, I'm so sorry. But there is one girl, Agnieszka, here, you should meet her, she's my friend. And I was like, Agnieszka who? I just don't care, I want to go home, you know. And this friend of ours, she was telling Agnieszka also, oh, I'm so sorry, you missed your flight, but Anita's there at the airport, she's coming here and she's going to be here, you two just have to meet, you know. And she's also like, what, Anita, you know, I'm not in this mood to meet anybody, I just want to go home. And finally we two meet, yeah. And suddenly it turns out that somehow I have the phone number to the lot manager in Delhi airport, and Agnieszka has the phone number to the Polish embassy in Delhi. So we have two vital phone numbers, and we are just both of us, you know, on the phones and saying, see, you have to help, all these people are here, you have to organize something. They said, oh, just go, you know, like Indian style, okay, go, we'll call you, yeah, whenever, go out of the airport. And all these Polish people, they were, this is also like a difference in, a cultural difference. Like in Poland, like in Europe, the standards are like this. Like if you cancel our flight, you have to give us a hotel, you have to give us meals, you have to give us this and that.
Yeah, you have to maybe give us in some other form of
So I had a hotel booked by the company which I was working for at that time and all that. So I didn't need to care about this, but somehow we felt that, you know, these people are sort of lost. So and we have these crucial phone numbers, so let's push. And both of us sort of were just pushing the staff to organize something, and suddenly, and they were so, you know, under pressure that they organized 3 buses to take us to a hotel, and there were like 90 people from Poland for 2 days in a hotel, nobody else, and we had meals, we had the hotels organized and everything. And so I spent 2 days with this Agnieszka, which I didn't want to meet at all. And then in the next, we came back to Poland and everything, and we were both, you know, under quarantine. So like everybody was calling us every day, are you coughing already? Are you still alive? You know, everybody was so stressed because COVID, like respect to those who lost anyone in COVID. No, but we were lucky, nothing happened to us, and we were just calling each other and talking a lot, like we had this very strong common experience. And then finally Agnieszka says, hey, let's organize tours to India. And that's how it started. I say, okay, where you want to go? And that's how we started. We came up with a name and ideas. We shared ideas how we wanted to look. Like I had this very long experience with various companies and you know, working as a tour leader, but I had this idea of what I want my tours to look like, right?
So what exactly you do? Like you take Polish people to India, but where specifically? And
yeah, so we have the company's name is Mettā. Mettā podróże w kierunku wschodu for the Polish viewers, and it's our website is metta.com.pl, and it's all in Polish because it's basically at the moment for Polish people who want to travel to India, who are afraid, who don't know how to do it, who don't know the language, who just need help, or who are too busy to organize it for themselves, because there's so many people who just take a backpack, buy the ticket and go. And for those who know how to do it, that's the best way. I agree, that's how I travel. But for those who have never don't know anything about India,
so please contact Anita for that.
Or read some, you know, good sources, find out and get some or get some help.
I think this is very important because last time when we were traveling to India, it's very hard for a person to, like Polish person, to go alone because there are so many small things that you have to know for India to be there. Even though conversation with an unknown person, you cannot just talk with anyone. So those kind of things, I think when you travel with Indian people, we know those hidden gems where you should travel, and that's actually nice. And I think that's a good initiative that you're doing for Polish people.
Yeah, like even I keep telling people, like, people in India are good, like, you know, everywhere, like majority of the people are going to be good people, but who's going to wait for you when you get out of the train station or the airport, right? You'll get all the touts, and they are so convincing, right? They'll tell you, oh, you have a booking.
Oh, they will
but the hotel is not there anymore, you know, or the road is blocked. You didn't know that it's a holiday and the whole area is closed, and they'll be so convincing, and people will, even I got, after so many years of traveling, I sort of ended up in one tourism office who was also trying to sell us something and all that, and I was like, okay, let us go.
Yeah.
Because and then the head shake, you don't know if someone's saying yes or no, all these things are these traps.
I think this is very important because especially when you travel to India, when you actually get out from the airport, they will take your technically bag to go with us.
Like, yeah, they're helping you, right?
Yeah, they're helping us, right? But for new person, it will be like, no, don't take my stuff. But for us, it's like they try to take you to help you or something.
Yeah.
So.
Or the opposite situation, like they'll help you. Oh, he's so nice, he's helping me. But then where are your rupees? Yeah, I don't have any rupees. So I'll give you dollars. Yeah, but no, you're not giving him dollars. You just need to have 50 rupees, right? And all those things. So,
What is the perception you want to change about India for Polish people or anyone?
Yeah. For some reason, India is being shown from two sides. Yeah, if you have the travel companies, you'll have the brochures, you'll have the beautiful blue sea, which is maybe somewhere in Andamans, but not everywhere, and you'll have the clean place. Of course, everyone takes pictures. You want to be alone on the picture. You don't want all the other people in the Taj Mahal. Yeah. You want to be alone on the picture. You want to have the blue sky, the green trees, and the blue water, right? So that's one thing. And on the other hand, the media or even Polish writers actually, for some reason, they want to stress the poverty, the dirt, and everything. And both the things are there, right? Yeah. But there are two different parts of the story too. And most of India is what is in the middle, actually, which is not being shown, I think. So definitely, there are more than half of the people in the world at the moment live, I'm citing William Dalrymple at the moment, live in a place which is directly or has been influenced by Indian ideas.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
And now I hope that people will know more about that, because especially when I started my work, India was perceived as a third world country. Yeah, so that was one myth that I had to do, sort of stress and talk about. Now, of course, India is changing a lot, and the impression is mixed, but still that poverty, the dirt and everything, which by the way has to be worked on also.
Yeah, not every place is dirty, not every place is with poverty.
Yeah, that the Indians have to take care, yeah? I can't clean the place for you, I'm doing the other part of the job, so you have to clean.
So there is I think our Prime Minister, he maybe started like Swachh Bharat, that we have to clean, not only inside but outside as well. So it's such a good initiative for people.
I think this is also a very important role for all the Indians who are abroad.
Yeah.
Because, if the Prime Minister tells somebody who's living in Jhoparapati, he has never seen a different world. So how is he going to understand? He can try to understand it, but you guys have seen that it can be clean.
Yeah.
And it's also your role to sort of, you have families, you have friends, and tell them it is possible, and somehow it has to change.
Yeah, it's not a government work technically. It's also yours.
Yeah.
Like you also have to do. Like you cannot just expect to do everything by government. You also have to be a part of it.
Yeah, or even push the government. Like if people want that, then also somehow it has to be from both sides.
Yeah, so I totally agree with this.
Yeah. So basically, like the Indian subcontinent has been the place, the center of the world in some sense, you can say, like when it comes to commerce. Like Europe, since ancient times, Greece and Roman empires, everything, and even Africa, they used to travel for commercial reasons and buy stuff from India. So India was really very, very, very rich at that time. And I try to explain to people that every place in the world has its history, and the way it is today is just because of the time in history where these things have happened, and it is like this right now, right? To get the big picture of it, and also like the soft power, because India has contributed as a soft power. The philosophy, the religion, the yoga, the medicine, the astronomy, the numbers.
And Wi-Fi as well.
The
cable.
Everything.
So, I like to know, because people who you already traveled with in India, do you think now they think India is not only poverty and dust or something else?
Oh, definitely, definitely. I usually talk to people in the beginning of a tour, and I'll ask them, why are you here? Why did you come? What do you expect and all? And at the end, I like to hear and they'll say like, that they were so scared. Their family said, where are you going? Why are you going? You know, and all these things. And at the end, they'll say, they've learned so much, they've found out so much. They felt, the most important thing that people usually say, I didn't expect the people to be so nice. Usually, because people in India are much more open, right?
Yeah.
And people in cold places tend to be more reserved, right? So, of course, I'm not talking, because we also like, we don't, like if you're visiting any place, right, half of the fun is not only, okay, we'll see the monuments and all, but then there'll be so many other travelers from all parts in India traveling, like pilgrims and families, and they all want to take pictures with, so it's like everyone is usually shocked, hey, they want to take pictures with us, you know, the more blonde the hair, the more the photos they want to take with them. Why do they take pictures with us? And they're all smiling, and they're all asking us, where are we from, and do you love India, and all these things. So the warmth of the Indian people is something that truly mostly shocks them.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So what is your favorite destination in India that you think everyone should visit, including Indian?
Yeah, well, there's so much I still don't know about India. Like, you know, I'm dedicating all of my time to traveling there and all, but still India is so vast, and I'm sure there's places which still are there to be explored by me. But of course, yeah, the diversity is, there's no one India. We know that, right?
Yeah.
There are so many Indias. So like Ladakh is valuable because it's totally different, and it's new, and it's pristine, and the fresh air, and the Buddhist culture, which was around the whole of India once during Ashoka's time. So it's still over there, right? And you can feel it actually, the peace, the calm of the people, and for sure I'd like to take people there. Another really special place for me is South India, Tamil Nadu. Because of Bharatanatyam, I think, like Tamil Nadu, the temples and all, they are like so unknown to people. Like usually people will think Taj Mahal, yeah, okay, I'll go and see the Taj Mahal, and then I'll at least see that much in India. But there's so much more. For the carvings, but also like, you know, if you go into the history of dance, you have the carvings of the 108 karanas, which are movements, sequences of movement, which were written down 2000 years. This does not fit in the brain of people, especially in Europe, because what do we know about Europe 2000 years ago?
Nothing.
And in India, you had volumes of doctorates, like, you know, the Natya Shastra, for example, and in all other genres, you had different specializing different. So in so many different fields in India, like 2000 years ago, we have manuals, we have texts which are so detailed that even today, you know, it's amazing. Like I can speak from the view of someone who has studied the Natya Shastra, the dance, the aesthetics of India. 2000 years ago, they were wondering, you know, okay, we have this stage which is built, it should be either like this or like this or like this. You have three options. The musicians will be on this side, the artists will come from this side, and we dance like this. We have the hastas, the, you know, single-handed, double-handed, and the nritta hastas. Everything is written down in detail 2000 years ago. And okay, and lots more. And we have the reason. Why are we doing this? The reason, you know, the aesthetic reason for doing this is, you know, to evoke rasa. Can you imagine? So advanced, so sophisticated the culture was. So yeah, these things are there in India, and that's why everybody has to go there. You just need to go there. And anyway, so and in this Natya Shastra, we have 108 karanas as the sequences of movements, and they are 1,000 years later, which is 1,000 years behind from now, 1,000 years ago, they have been sculpted in the temples. Like for me, the Tanjavur temple, The Brihadishwara temple in Tanjavur is just for so many reasons, for architectural reasons, concept, everything. It's amazing. Plus, it has, the frescoes and the sculptures and all these things. Like and nobody will knows. Like even like Kerala, people will have heard of Kerala in Poland now, maybe because of Ayurveda and all. But Tamil Nadu, people don't know, and there's so much to see. Kerala is amazing. Karnataka, there is so much, so much history. Like if you go in any place, actually, even Mumbai, people don't like Bombay. Travelers usually they don't like because I don't know why. It's a big city. But if you go into the history, like even the history is history. Whatever the Britishers have done there, but they, because of the merging of two cultures, right? Arts usually, some form of amazing art is developed usually. Even if there is someone who's conquering the country, the values which are left for us now to see are the amazing buildings and the cosmopolitanism of Bombay, like where I was brought up. The mindset for me is something the whole world should live like that, respecting each other in spite of differences between all of us, and in peace, never mind differences in religion and whatever. Just don't care about that and live together. Of course, Rajasthan, oh my God, the music, the dances and everything. Have you seen Khajuraho? The sculptures, are just something else. And the concept, nowadays people tend to sort of see it from our perspective of pop culture, but it was very deep and complex at that time. And so on and so forth.
So definitely.
It's not only Taj Mahal.
So it's not only Taj
Mahal. Which is amazing also.
So it's not only Taj Mahal. So please do visit the places that she explained, and I will be the part. I will also go and visit them. And I totally agree, because when last time when I visit India, and I went to museum specifically. So according to me, I was thinking like Hindu religion is not that old. But when I went to this museum, I can see like 2000 years old, like those statues and so on, and Buddhism. And it was amazing to see that. Like, it's not only history, but it's also make you open toward another religion, that you got to know that what you were thinking and what you were thinking in your mind, it's not true. There is a history, there are evidence that is already there. So you just have to go and see it, to explore more.
And people usually in the schools, they don't learn about the Indus Valley civilization at all. It was simultaneous to Mesopotamia and Egypt, and nobody knows about the Indus Valley civilization. That's one thing. Then the whole, common day mindfulness and everything. The Indians, Buddhists, they are the most advanced when it comes to inner engineering and all those things that we need desperately now. For all the depressions and everything, all the situations.
I think people are getting so advanced, and now they just want to go back to live in a simple life. And that simple life was as well very peaceful for everyone. What is the future plan for Natyalaya and your Mettā company?
So when it comes to the future of Mettā, I think we're just gonna keep on spreading Mettā. Mettā means it's not only the name of a travel company that bridges Poland to the Indian subcontinent, because we not only go to India, actually we go to also Nepal, Bhutan, in the Indian subcontinent in a wider perspective. But it's also about spreading Mettā. Mettā is a word that comes from the Buddhist philosophy. I'm sure it's there in all of mankind, but specifically the Buddhists have named it. It is you can say it's the art of spreading selfless, like loving kindness to everybody, irrespective of what they are, who they are, of all living beings actually. So, and it's something we can practice. It's something that allows, peace in us and among us. And that's basically one of the things I want to do through my work, because like And I think anybody can do it all over the world, but I'm specializing in, because I'm half Indian, half Polish. So I believe that by allowing people to understand a different culture, we can work towards eliminating racism, because all problems start when we don't understand each other. So that's what I'm doing.
Thank you for sharing. It was a lovely conversation I had with you. And definitely we're going to put her website under description. Please do reach out. And not only India, she also help you maybe see another countries such as Nepal and Bhutan. So thank you so much for joining us today, and stay tuned with the Kaur and Akshay. Have a nice day. Bye.
Thank you.